You've done this before. You walk into your kitchen, you open the fridge, you stare at it for 30 seconds. Nothing jumps out. You close it. You walk to the pantry. You look at the shelves. Half a box of pasta, some cans you bought months ago, a bottle of olive oil, and you think, there's nothing here. There's nothing to eat. So you either order delivery, or you make the same 3 things you always make, or honestly, you just skip the meal entirely and call it a light day. But here's what I need you to understand right now. Your pantry has 3 real meals in it tonight. Meals that take 15 minutes, that cost under $1 per serving, and that are more nutritious than anything you'd order from a restaurant. I'm going to show you exactly what they are and exactly how to make them. But first, I need to tell you something about why you feel this way every single time you open that pantry door. You were trained to feel this way, not by accident, by design. Grocery stores are engineered by psychologists. Every inch of that store is built to make you feel like your pantry is always running low, always incomplete, always missing something. Fresh produce at the entrance so you feel like fresh is the only real food. Essentials at the very back so you walk past everything else to reach them. Sale signs in red because red triggers urgency in the human brain. Their entire business depends on you believing that if it isn't fresh, it doesn't count. And it works. The average American household throws away between $100 and $150 worth of food every single month. Not because you're wasteful, because you were taught that pantry food is backup food, emergency food, not real cooking. But I want you to think about this for one moment. The longest living populations on Earth, the communities in Sardinia, in Okinawa, in Ikaria, where people routinely live past 90 in excellent health, they eat mostly pantry food, dried beans, rice, olive oil, canned tomatoes. That's it. Simple, cheap, and more powerful for your body after 60 than almost anything in the fresh food aisle. So let me show you the 5 items that should always be in your kitchen. They cost less than $30 total, they last for years, and they are the foundation of every meal I'm about to teach you.
The first item is pasta or rice. Pick whichever you prefer. Dried pasta keeps for 2 years. White rice keeps for 5. They cost about $1 per pound, and they give you sustained energy without the blood sugar spikes that come from processed bread or crackers. This is the foundation. Without it, you're snacking. With it, you're eating a real meal. The second item is canned tomatoes, not tomato sauce, whole crushed tomatoes in their own juice. And here is something that will change how you shop forever. That can of tomatoes, the 89-cent can, is more nutritious than the fresh tomatoes you're buying at $2 each. Your fresh tomato was picked green in a field, loaded onto a truck, and gassed with ethylene to turn red during shipping. It never fully ripened. The canned tomato was processed at peak ripeness, right off the vine. The can wins, every single time. The third item is canned beans. Chickpeas, black beans, kidney beans, whatever you like. 3 cans at 80 cents each. More protein, more fiber, and more iron than almost any other food at that price point. If you're over 60 and trying to keep your muscles strong and your digestion working properly, beans are not optional, they're essential. The fourth item is olive oil. 1 bottle, lasts 18 months, and it is the single item that transforms pantry cooking from reheating into actual cooking. Without it, you're warming food up. With it, you're making a meal. The fifth item is garlic and onion, fresh or dried powder, both work. They last for months, and they are the difference between food that tastes like you're surviving and food that tastes like you chose to cook it. These 5 items, $30, 1 shopping trip, and you are prepared for 2 weeks of real meals no matter what happens outside. Now, let me show you the first meal. It's called pasta e fagioli, pasta and beans, Italian peasant food that is 500 years old, eaten in the villages of southern Italy, where people have some of the longest lifespans ever recorded. And it takes 15 minutes. Here is why this matters for your body specifically. The beans give you complete plant protein that protects your muscle mass. The pasta gives you complex carbohydrates for sustained energy. The tomatoes are loaded with lycopene, an antioxidant that actively reduces inflammation in your joints and protects your cardiovascular system. This is not survival food. This is medicine in a bowl. Here is how you make it. Heat 2 tablespoons of olive oil in a pot. Add 2 cloves of minced garlic or half a teaspoon of garlic powder. Let it cook for 1 minute until you can smell it. Add 1 can of crushed tomatoes. Add 1 can of drained. Shakshuka is eaten for breakfast, lunch, and dinner across North Africa and the Middle East. It is at minimum 5,000 years old, and it requires exactly 2 things you already have: eggs and canned tomatoes. Here is why eggs matter specifically for you. A single egg contains all 9 essential amino acids your body needs to maintain muscle tissue. Not some of them, all 9. Eggs are one of the most complete proteins in nature, and a dozen eggs costs about $2. That is 12 servings of complete protein for $2. Nothing in your grocery store comes close to that value. Here is how you make it. Heat olive oil in a wide pan. Add garlic if you have it. Pour in 1 can of crushed tomatoes. Season with salt, pepper, and cumin if you have it. Let it simmer for 3 minutes until it thickens and starts to bubble. Now take a large spoon and press small wells into the sauce. Crack 1 egg into each well. You can fit 3 or 4 in a standard pan. Cover with a lid. Cook for exactly 5 minutes. The white set, the yolk stays soft. Eat from the pan with toast, with crackers, or just with a spoon. 10 minutes, under $1, and deeply, genuinely satisfying in a way that a $12 delivery order almost never is. The third meal is something you've probably heard of your entire life and dismissed: rice and beans. And I understand if you're rolling your eyes right now, but stay with me for 60 seconds because what I'm about to tell you will change how you see this combination forever. Rice alone is an incomplete protein. It's missing essential amino acids. Beans alone are also incomplete. They're missing different ones. But when you eat rice and beans together in the same meal, those amino acids combine perfectly, and your body receives a complete protein it processes just as efficiently as meat. Not similar to meat, as efficiently as meat. NASA studied this. They were looking for the most nutritionally efficient simple foods for long-duration space missions. Rice and beans made the list. It is on the International Space Station menu right now because of how effectively it fuels the human body under stress. Here is how you make it. Cook rice your normal way. While it cooks, pour a can of beans into a small pan with a tablespoon of olive oil. Add garlic, cumin, and paprika if you have them. Cook on medium heat for 5 minutes, stirring, until the beans are fragrant and starting to crisp slightly on the outside. Pour over the rice. Add hot sauce if you like it. Add cheese if you have it. Crack a fried egg on top if you want to feel like you're eating at a restaurant. This meal costs 80 cents. It provides complete protein, complex carbohydrates, and enough fiber to keep your body working properly for 24 hours. And it will keep you full for 5 hours.
I want to tell you about a woman named Dorothy, 71 years old. Last January, a snowstorm closed the roads overnight. Power went out at 6 a.m. Her daughter was 3 states away. Dorothy stood in her kitchen, opened her fridge, saw almost nothing, opened her pantry, and thought exactly what you think when you open yours. There's nothing here. I don't know what I'm going to eat. She had pasta. She had canned tomatoes. She had 2 cans of beans she'd forgotten about. Olive oil, some garlic starting to sprout. She had everything. She just didn't know it yet. She made pasta e fagioli on the first night, shakshuka the next morning, rice and beans for dinner twice because she couldn't believe how good it was. When the roads cleared and her daughter called, worried, asking if she'd had enough to eat, Dorothy said, "I had plenty. Honestly, I ate better during the blizzard than I do most weeks." Her daughter was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Can you teach me how to make those?" That is what knowing this does. It doesn't just feed you, it changes how you see your kitchen. You stop standing in front of a full pantry feeling helpless. You start seeing what's possible with what you have. And that shift, from "there's nothing here" to "I know exactly what to do," is one of the most quietly powerful things you can do for yourself right now. 3 things this week. First, open your pantry right now and look. Do you have pasta or rice, canned tomatoes, beans, olive oil? If any of those are missing, write them down and buy them this week. $30, 1 trip, done. Second, make one of these 3 meals this week. Not because you have to, because you want to know you can. Because the first time you cook a real meal from 5 pantry items, something changes. You stop seeing a half-empty shelf and start seeing dinner. Third, come to the comments and tell me which one you made, how it turned out. Because your experience is going to mean something to someone who's reading that comment at 10 o'clock at night, staring at their pantry, wondering what to do. Your words might be exactly what they needed to hear. Share this with someone who lives alone, someone who tells you they don't know what to cook, someone who orders delivery because they open their pantry and feel like there's nothing there. They have everything they need. They just don't know it yet. Subscribe if you want more content like this. Practical, real, built for your actual life. Not trends, not complicated recipes that require 12 ingredients, just honest, useful things that make your day easier and your life better.